The following program is a presentation from thezibbyshow.com. Welcome to Nigeria Untold with Zibby, a show about the Nigeria you never hear about, the beauty, inspiration, strength, and overall greatness of Nigeria. Telling the Nigerian story, now here's your host, Zibby.
Hey guys, welcome to Nigeria Untold. My name is Zibby. I'm the regular host, of course, of the beautiful show. Okay, so the aim of this show is basically to present Nigeria in a very, very positive light, in that way that the world media doesn't really care to do. So if no one is going to tell your story, you should tell your story, and that's why I'm telling the Nigerian story. Thank you so much to everyone who listened, downloaded, shared the link from last episode, and I must say I really love the feedback. Now I actually got a few more subscriptions on my website, so I'm really psyched up about that. And I actually got some tweets from people telling me that they had subscribed via iTunes. So don't forget, if you don't want to miss an episode, just subscribe via iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher if you use an Android device, and once the new episode is uploaded every Sunday, it would come directly to your device. It's easy. Okay, so today we've got a lot to talk about, and I'll give you a little teaser. Yes, just a little. Okay, so on the show today, we're going to be talking about one of the foremost African activists who comes from Nigeria, who came from Nigeria, and we're going to be talking about one of the world's best football players, also Nigerian. So stick around and don't go anywhere, because later on in the show you will get the passport quiz, aka the ITK quiz, and of course the Nigerian Did You Know, where you can learn a lot about Nigeria. So stay here and don't go anywhere, because the show is about to begin. Okay, so when you hear the name Ransome Kuti, the first thing a lot of people from all over the world will think about is Fela Kuti. Now, Fela is a legend, but today it's not about Fela. No, it's not. It's not about Fela's kids or his brothers. This is about Fela's mother, Mrs. Funmilayo Ransome Kuti. Now, I remember sometime last year, I had an interview with Seun Kuti, who is Fela's son, who currently performs with Fela's band Egypt 80. And, while we were talking, I asked him about his grandmother, Funmilayo Ransome Kuti. And I asked if, being the mother of Fela actually brought her some sort of attention that, some sort of attention basically. And he laughed and he said, before Fela was born, there was Funmilayo Ransome Kuti. Fela is known for being Funmilayo's son. And I decided to go and dig and do a lot of research. The more I read about this woman, the more amazed I was by how much she had achieved in her life. It's amazing. Okay, now as a child, a lot of us in Nigeria knew that the first woman to drive a car was Funmilayo Ransome Kuti, but no one knew much more about that, or maybe somehow we just weren't told, we never read about it. So just preparing for this show, the intense research I did just, made my heart swell at how much this woman was able to achieve. Now, she was the she was the grandchild of an escaped slave, or of a freed slave, if you want to call it that. Her grandfather was a slave who had been released in the United States, who gained his freedom after the abolishment, moved to Sierra Leone, Freetown, and traced his roots back to Abeokuta in Nigeria. So her grandfather was a slave, and he found his way back home. And luckily we had Funmilayo Ransome Kuti. Now, not only was Funmilayo an activist and an educator, she was a very, very strong member of her community and of Nigeria. In fact, I don't want to talk too much about her family, but she had these kids whom we all know about, Fela Kuti, Beko Kuti, and Olufunmilayo Kuti. Beko and Olukoye were both doctors, and in fact, Olikoye was at some point the Minister of Health in Nigeria. Now, Fela apparently was supposed to be a doctor like his brothers, but when he got to England, he decided, you know what, medicine is not for me, and he decided to study music, and this is why we have the legend that is Fela. But this is about his mother, Funmilayo. It's all about her. Now, Funmilayo, in addition to being the first female to actually drive a car, get the license and everything, she was a very, very strong politician. She was a huge part of the NCNC, that's the party called National Council for Nigeria and the Cameroons. That was a very strong party back then. In fact, she was a strong woman leader. She actually, with her activities, were able to get a king of Egba land to actually abdicate the throne due to the excessive taxing that the women had received. So this woman was married to a reverend who is known as a great composer. He helped to start the Nigerian Union of Teachers and Nigerian Union of Students. So next time, students in Nigeria, you're doing the whole Aluta thing, remember, the Kutis had a lot to do with it. They really did. She had even traveled extensively in the 40s and the 50s, going all over the Soviet Union. She'd been to China. She even met Chairman Mao. That's, amazing for a woman from Africa in the 1930s, 40s, 50s. Okay, I can't even wrap my head around how far ahead she was of her time. Now, unfortunately, she lost her life in 1978. She was at her son Fela's home, the Kalakuta Republic, when soldiers stormed the area and she was thrown off a second floor window. She lost her life after the injuries. She lost her life from the injuries that she sustained in that accident. But Funmilayo will never be forgotten. Her achievements, everything she had done would never ever be forgotten. You might not know this, but there's a Nobel Prize winner called Wole Soyinka. Now, Wole Soyinka and Funmilayo actually related. Wole Soyinka and the Kuti boys, by the Kuti boys, I'm talking about Fela, Olikoye, Beko, are cousins. In fact, Wole Soyinka's mother was part of the group with Funmilayo, who helped to start the Abeokuta Women's Union. So they might not see eye to eye on certain issues, but they are family. So gosh, I just love Funmilayo. Like, I'm obsessed with her. I can't even wrap my head around my obsession. But it's just so good to know that this woman paved the way for me, for a black African woman to do these things. She even made enemies with the Nigerian, the British, and the American government, who were not too thrilled about her traveling to the Soviet Union. And when her passport expired, they refused to renew it because they were scared that she had such a massive influence with the Nigerian woman and she might have some communist ideas which she would pass on to them. Amazing stuff. She's a winner of the Lenin Peace Prize. That prize has also been awarded to people like Nelson Mandela, Kwame Nkrumah, Pablo Picasso. So she's one of the people who received that award. In 2012, there was a plan from the Nigerian government to sort of put her on a 5,000 naira note. Now, her grandson, Seun Kuti, who is very, very vocal, said, considering the Nigerian government led to her death, they needed to apologize to the family before even thinking of putting her on that note. Now, the government didn't respond or apologize, and that plan has been scrapped. We haven't heard anything about it. But this one is for Olufunmilayo Ransome Kuti, a great activist, a great teacher, and a great woman who paved the way for a lot of us to even have the right to vote. She was at the forefront of that battle to get women to vote. I'm just so blown away, and don't worry, there's a lot more to come on the show. This is Nigeria Untold. Get your notepads and your pens ready, because this is Niger 101, so start taking those notes.
This is Niger 101. Did you know that areas surrounding Calabar, Cross River State in Nigeria, have the world's largest diversity of butterflies? Keep listening to Nigeria Untold for more Niger 101.
Okay, now let's talk about Nigerian football and a very, very special Nigerian football player. Now, I don't know if it's the same these days, but when we were younger, Nigerian football players were like our idols. They were like role models. You wanted to be them. There were people that we looked up to. These days, there's a lot more flash and bling among the younger football players that I can't personally relate with. And I don't know if younger people can relate to that. But the, football players that we grew up idolizing and loving and just admiring so much were not about that. There was just something different about them. The humility, the philanthropy, that was what was amazing. That was what drew us to them. And none other stands out than Kanu Nwankwo himself. Now, Kanu Nwankwo would stand out in a lot of places. He is 6'5". But his works and his achievements would even make him stand out way more than he already does. Speaking about that, I remember Kanu Nwankwo had a brother, Ogbonna, I think, who was a football player. And I always wondered how they were brothers, because Kanu here is like 6'5" and Ogbonna is like 5'1". No shade intended. Anyways, let's get to it. Okay, so Kanu Nwankwo is regarded as probably the most decorated African football player. He has won the Champions League, the FA, the Super Cup, the Premiership League. He even won the Olympic gold medal for football in '96. Who would ever forget Kanu Nwankwo's golden goal that just, made him a hero in many, many Nigerian hearts? I would never forget that. I think that question did come up on one of the segments. I think that was the one with Adora, and she failed that question. Still mad at her about that. But Kanu Nwankwo definitely. Kanu Nwankwo definitely one of the greatest African football players. Definitely. He started playing out in Nigeria with a team called Iwayawo National, and then he moved on to play with Ajax, Inter Milan, Arsenal, West Brom, Portsmouth. At Arsenal, he stamped his mark. He put it there, and that's why he's regarded as one of the greatest football players to ever play for Arsenal. And we totally agree with that. His skill, and he's such a calm person. I just love him. Really, I just do. But his work is something amazing. Now, in 1996, it was revealed that Kanu Nwankwo had a heart defect and he had to undergo heart surgery. I'm sure millions of Nigerians from all over the world, in fact, millions of people from all over the world, not just Nigerians, were praying for Kanu Nwankwo. And thankfully, he got through that. And realizing what he had been through, he actually started up a foundation called the Kanu Heart Foundation. Now, I don't know if, I know Austin JJ Okocha has a foundation, but I can't think of any other football player from Nigeria at the moment who has a foundation or who has done as much work as Kanu Nwankwo with his Heart Foundation. Now, the Heart Foundation basically helps people, children and mature people who have health problems, and basically it gives them a second chance at life. Now, according to some research I had done, the foundation has supported over 400 heart surgeries with an amazing 98.5 success rate. So that is amazing, because we all know how those heart surgeries can be very delicate, but the Kanu Heart Foundation has done so much to give people a lease on life. In fact, it's expanded from just helping people with heart problems to now actually providing for homeless kids in Nigeria and Africa at large. And I must say, the Kanu Heart Foundation is not restricted to just Nigerians. It's also open to Africans who have need for their services. So it's amazing that Kanu Nwankwo is giving so much. It's amazing. In fact, I had read an article a few years ago where he was planning to start some sort of cardiac center in Abuja. He actually needed funds for that. I hope that is still going on as planned, because they plan to actually give free surgeries to children under 12 and for people older, highly subsidized rates. So that's something that is so amazing. I think it was in 2014. Yeah, it was in 2014 at the Nigerian centenary. And Kanu Nwankwo was listed as one of the 100 most important Nigerians. I mean, considering the body of work, I mean, his philanthropy, it is totally well deserved. Kanu Nwankwo has a soccer academy in Canada. I bet a lot of people didn't know that. I remember speaking to someone just a few days ago, and it came up in the conversation, and he said, but why is he having an academy helping people in Canada when people in Nigeria need that help? And I said, you know what? The beautiful thing about humanity is we're all humans. It doesn't really matter where you come from. You can make an impact in a life. I mean, let's talk about Bill Gates. He's invested a lot in philanthropy here in Africa, and he's not African. So are we saying only Africans are responsible for Africans? Only Canadians are responsible for Canadians? It's a good idea to give in any way that you can. You know, it's really good of Kanu Nwankwo to actually help to nurture football talent in Canada, and I'm very proud of him for actually doing that. It's amazing. Oh wow, I love Kanu Nwankwo. I mean, I love JJ Okocha, I love Kanu Nwankwo. I love Peter Rufai. I just love those guys. I call it the glorious days of Nigerian football, and I really hope that we can actually go back to those amazing years. Now, Kanu Nwankwo has won the CAF African Footballer of the Year twice. He's won the BBC Footballer of the Year award as well. He's a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, and I read about an organization, the Borgen Project, which named Kanu Nwankwo the third, I'm saying third, 1, 2, 3, the third most philanthropic football player in the world after David Beckham and Didier Drogba. So congratulations to you, Kanu Nwankwo, on that, and we appreciate your massive work. All right, let's go on to another favorite segment of the show. It's the Nigerian Passport Quiz, aka the ITK Quiz. And someone did send me a tweet asking what ITK was. Definitely not Nigerian. ITK means I too know, aka know it all. All right, stay here, don't go anywhere, cause the ITK Quiz is coming right up. Unfortunately, due to a technical glitch, we cannot have the passport quiz here, but not to worry, it will be back next Sunday. In 2012, Nigerians once again made academic history. I love it. Okay, so at the Warwick University in the UK, a group of Nigerian siblings, quadruplets, 2 brothers and 2 sisters, Tokes, Temi, Toby, and Tolu, actually made some amazing results with their MSCs at Warwick University. Now, these quadruplets, did I say both? Quadruply decided to apply to Warwick University because they love the university and they wanted to be around each other. And they graduated with really good results at the end of their program. Now, Turks got a master in engineering, a master's in engineering and manufacturing management, while Temi, Toby, and Tolu actually went on to get master's degrees in business management. Now, they say that they owe their success to their father, who is a very successful businessman in Nigeria. We're going to call them the Ogunsanya quadruplets. Did I say triplets? Quadruplets. The Ogunsanya quadruplets. Now, the amazing thing was they had barely finished their degrees and they already had jobs in the city. Now, you know what it means to have a job in the city. In the city, you know, it's like it's like the business district, basically. Maybe like the British version of Wall Street. So they had those jobs there already. Tokes with MNG already had a job with Royal Bank of Scotland, and then Temi had a position at Santander, which is a bank. Tolu actually got a job in an accountancy firm, and then Toby basically had 2 offers on the table, deciding which one he was going to take. 2 major job offers. So congratulations to the Ogunsanya twins. That was a few years ago. I'm very certain that they're well settled in their positions and living the city life. So good job there. Quadruplets graduated from the same university, same time, first ever. massive results. Okay, I have to go now. This is the end of Nigeria Untold for today, but don't worry, I will be back next Sunday. Don't forget to keep up with me on my socials. My Instagram is countess_Zibby. On Twitter is @ZibbyJ. On Facebook it's The Zibby Show. So please feel free to send me a message, send me a tweet, or you can send me an email. It's The Zibby Show. I'm sorry. The email is zibby@thezibbyshow.com or thezibbyshow@gmail.com. Would absolutely love to hear from you. Please don't forget to subscribe via iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, YouTube. There's so many links you can listen and subscribe to, so you get your downloads direct to your mobile. Take care and have a lovely week. Thank you for being a part of the journey to rebrand Nigeria. See you soon.
Thanks for listening to Nigeria Untold with Zibby. Download and listen to new episodes every Sunday via iTunes, Spreaker, and YouTube. For all links and contact information, please visit the website www.thezibbyshow.com.